Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and here we have the Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX motherboard. And as you can see here, I did update the BIOS to F9C, and it has the 7700X in here, as well as 64 gigs RAM. That's two 32 gig sticks. I thought that they were 16 gig sticks. I guess I got 32 for my friend here on his computer. There's a Rate Expert. You can see the SATA, PCI, M.2. You notice I have a graphics card. I did test the internal GPU of the 7700. It works. It just flickers when I plug it into my capture card. So you're getting an external GPU, so you don't have to watch the flicker the whole time, which would annoy everybody. And then you have the fans, of what the fans are going at here. I just have a little cooler I had lying around on here temporarily until I get the cooler from his system that's already in there. You have Rate Expert Tech as well, and you add some frequencies, some CPU temps up here, and memory frequencies, all that fun stuff. So let's just go through this here. You got English help, advanced mode, which we'll get into, smart fan, which here's the smart fan, and you can see you have a pretty good setup. You got all the 5 headers up here, so you got CPU fan, CPU optional, 3 system fans, and you can configure how those go. You can tune them, all the fun stuff. You can load optimized defaults if you want. QFlash, I'll click on that. It says no disk drive. You won't be able to see it right now, but this is how I update the BIOS. I throw it on the USB drive, hop on over into the BIOS, and from there I just select and walk through the steps. It's pretty seamless. The screen does go blank while you're updating them, and if you're updating on at least the way I did it, which was on the CPU for the monitor, so I didn't have the graphics card in at this time, so it was just pretty simple. And the screen went blank. I think it rebooted once or twice, and it just kept updating. I left it alone until it said it was done. So save and exit is there, and then favorites as well. But let's jump into the advanced mode where everyone wants to get into. All the starred stuff is going to be in the it looks like they are here in your favorites, I guess. I don't know how they're really doing the favorites. I should have maybe tried to look at that, but it didn't come with a booklet, so we'll fly by the seat of our pants and see where we get to. You have the CPU clock, you have the spread spectrum control here, and a lot of these are just, this is entering a number, this is enabled, disabled, and a lot of this, I'm going to keep default. All cores are per CCX for the CPU ratio mode. CPU ratio is set at 45. Graphics clock frequency. Precision Boost Overdrive Enhancement. Now, this is not just Precision Boost Overdrive. This is the enhancement on top of that. Now, this offers 5 boost modes, as you can see down at the bottom, for their targeted 90, 80, and 70 degrees Celsius temperature. One can choose the most suitable thermal limit boost level combination to reach higher CPU frequencies. So you do have that funness, I would say, from this that you have. Now, the advanced CPU settings, if you were to go into there, you have your core boost, your visualization mode, you have your PSS support, and then you have your P state or PC adjustment, which is P state here. You have, and if you click on here, you get P state 0 and P state 1. I'm keeping this. And then you have global C state control, power idle control. This is your SMT, which is your threading support. And then you have precision boost overdrive. We'll get into that in a second here. And then you have your power slew rate as well, enable disable on that. Precision boost overdrive is set to auto. Now this precision boost overdrive is enabled. The precision boost overdrive enhancement is not enabled by default. So the only thing that I have set up right now is Expo, that outside of default. So now we get into the DDR5 stuff. Expo is enabled, and you'll see if we click on this. Come on. Well, for some reason the mouse wasn't working, but you can get disabled or Expo 1. So I've already had an Expo 1. These are Expo memory modules, low latency support, XMP Expo high bandwidth support. So this says it may increase performance or memory performance. System high multiplier, system memory multiplier. My bad. And then you got the Infinity Fabric frequency and dividers, and then you got the uClock divide one mode as well. And then here's advanced memory support. You have your memory context restore, gear down mode, and power down enabled. If we go into memory subtimings, you can see in here, here's all the subtimings. The one thing about Expo is it's supposed to, kind of go through some of these subtimings and modify them a little bit better than what XMP normally has done historically. But I'm not going to mess with any of this stuff. Feel free if that's what you want to, sit down and tweak. Again, I'm getting this. This is not going to be my PC. This is for somebody, and I want them to have the stable system and not have to adjust a whole bunch of stuff if they run into an issue, right? As stable as possible, and as easy to replicate as possible for them. So speed information, of course, if you watch the put together video that I think I'll put out, you'll notice that it says the first slots to populate are A2 and B2, which are there, and they show the JEDEC and the Expo as well. And you'll notice A1 and B1 are not because they don't have any memory sticks in them. And then you also get speed setup, which is just showing you the profiles, Expo, JEDEC, current, which should be Expo 1, and this is, all that. So it's a nice little interface here that Gigabyte has done. Then you get to vCore, dynamic vCore. You get vCore SoC, CPU VD DIO mem DDR VDD voltage and DDR VDDQ voltage, so you get all those. DDR VPP voltage, so you get a lot. I mean, it's nice that they have all this, especially if you're a tweaker, that they have all this in BIOS. Some of the stuff from the A&B side you can do, the Ryzen master to get some items, but just keep that in mind. You have access here as well. So here we go, and now we're into VDD voltage here, which is auto. You have this voltage control. I'm going to go through these. CPU VDIO miss, CPU VDD, and a lot of these have little informations here at the bottom, so just keep that in mind. CPU VDD, PM VDD, PM 1V8, and PM V 1V05 S5. So a lot of this stuff you might not even care about, right? Depending upon what you are looking for in here. But this input is voltage 6.6 millivolts times N negative and positive basis. Positive based on the 850 millivolt will have a minimum error calculation. There is trice. I think it's hard to tell. I need a bigger. I should have made this recording window a little bit bigger. But here we go. Your VDDG voltage control, global voltage, control here, and this is all set up. And you'll notice they have these all listed out on the bottom too, what it represents, the voltage of the data portion of the Infinity Fabric it's derived from. So these are all there, basically Infinity Fabric range. So there is that there. So let's go back out. No, I want to go back into tweaking. And I think we're done with tweak. No, we have one more. We have the CPU and VRAM settings. And here you go. And this is the vCore load line calibration, CPU vCore load line calibration, and the SoC load line calibration as well. So you can then set that up if you'd like. But let's go into settings here, and this is where we're getting into some of the we're getting out of the tweaker settings and just getting into regular settings here. So platform power, we'll start there. And you can set it up to have the AC always off if the power goes out, or memory, or always on. And depending on what you do with your computer, you can mess with this however you want. Sometimes I actually have it as, hey, if the power goes out, this is a computer that I need to have on, go back on. So keyboard wake up from S3, mouse wake up from S3, power on by keyboard disabled, power on by mouse is disabled. This is your configuring ERP mode. This is your instant off if you're soft off by power button. And then power landing is auto, and resume by alarm. And then wake on LAN is enabled here. And so we can go back. No, just go back to settings. I/O ports here. We'll go to I/O ports, and you'll notice you have initial display output here. Integrated graphics is auto. This is your HD audio controller. Bifurcation of your PCI X16 is auto. Above 4 gigs decoding is enabled. Restart bar is enabled. I'm actually glad to see some of these settings be enabled by default in these boards now that they've been out for a while. These settings, resize bar support, etc., because I think that's a good thing to put in there. Now we have SR IVO support, and this is with the capable PCI devices. So it's enabled or disabled single root IO virtualization support, and then you have your onboard LAN. So then you have Gigabyte download utilities enabled. I don't know if I want to keep that enabled. So that is going to download the Gigabyte utilities downloader after you install Windows, because Windows has that support to put more junkware onto your computer. Serial port is enabled, Super I/O. You have USB configuration here. Legacy support is enabled. XHCI handoff, and then US mass support. And A&B's been doing a good job getting their USB support better throughout the Ryzen processor generations, which has been good. No NVMe drive, but this is where all that settings will be. SATA configuration, this is going to enable some of your SATA modes if you want to RAID. NVMe RAID mode, chipset port, and then hot plug as well. Of course, nothing is plugged in. Network stack, again, that's just enabled, disabled. And then you also have your PCI Realtek, what it has, its driver, everything there. So fun little information here on that as well. Let's see. I think we can go back to settings here, and now we're into miscellaneous. And then we have LEDs if you want those on. LEDs in sleep and hibernation. Hardware reset, multi-key function. You have the PCI link speed of X16, the other 2 slots as well. PCI link speed on here, which is auto. Auto, and you get to select which gen it is on all these. So auto is what, it's working fine with an older card. This is a PCI 3 card, so that's working. PCI ASP mode level, which is, I think, enabled, disabled. 3D mark enhancement. I don't know why we have just enhancements for benchmarks here. But then IOMUU as well. TSME, TPM switch, and then trusted computing as well. And there's probably nothing really in here because guess what? It's the TPM. You need that for Windows now. Windows 11, that is. So This is all on the CPU, and that's because it's required, and it's on the CPU. And then you have AMD CBS, you have common options, you have all these options here for CPU. Do I want to go through all these options? Here's all your options. If you have a question about these, go through them. You can ask a question. I don't want to have this video too long, so we'll just go through and just click through these, and you can pause if you'd like. I mean, these are getting into prefetcher settings. These are getting into core watching, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's actually nice that AMD has exposed all of this to us. I wish laptops would actually have a lot more of this stuff, but you know, we don't always get that option. But you have a lot of controls here as well. So let's go back. So you have all these options here. Again, more options. I thought I clicked on. Yeah, so you have just a ton of options here. Feel free to pause your DDR options, DDR timings. You know, you can really mess with some settings in here. I don't know how much I want to get into this, because if you know what you're doing, dive in. If you don't know what you're doing, don't dive into this section. These are the fun, you know, these are fun things where you can tweak if you need something. Maybe I'll go into another video doing more into this, but this is in the TPM switch. Where am I? It's like it took me to something else. Oh, it's still in the AMD CBS. So let's go to, this is AMD overclocking course. There we'll exit out, but if you want to do overclocking, this is the warning message. Again, I want to kind of just keep this the way it is. If it was my machine, I'd probably go into that. I would go into it, but it's not my machine. So, or it's not, yeah, it won't be my machine. So PC health. Now we click on settings again. Wait, that is all the settings. Huh. Now we go to system info. This has actually got some of your basic stuff. Now it does tell you the Aegis version, which is combo AM SPI 1.0.0.7.c. So that is there. You'll notice the BIOS date was just last month, almost a month ago. And from when I'm doing this, you got these. You got plugin device info. That's everything. You know, we looked at that in easy stuff. You know, I click escape out of here. It's taking me someplace else. It's like Gigabyte didn't keep the back page. You got speed information, which we were there in memory. And then you also have Q flash here. If you are in advanced mode already, this is how you get the Q flash from there. So this is all the information. And let's see here. We can go to boot. And we get the boot numlock state. You get security options. You get full screen logo is enabled. You get fast boot, which is disabled. CSM support disabled. Administrator user password. Secure boot, which we go into here. You'll notice it's enabled. There's key management, of course, Windows 10 or Windows 11, Windows 10 stuff, and yeah. So secure boot. Yeah, I think somehow something in here, the escape takes you to a weird page right now. I don't know how I did that. Preferred operating mode as well, which mode that you exited last time, so advanced or not. And then there is the save and exit. So you'll see here, that's what it basically, the rundown is on this. You have save profiles, you have load profiles, you have save and exit, load optimized defaults. You know, that is the quick and dirty rundown of this as well. I'll go back into easy mode. Oh wait, if you press F1, it goes there. Let's go to easy mode, and here we are back to the main screen. This has got Expo on. And let me know if you have any questions on this. Hopefully I can get this video out to you here pretty soon. And thank you so much for supporting Gray Overload. Hopefully that this video has helped you as well. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help on the channel, and I really, really appreciate it. Until next time, God bless.